I gather around me a merry band of men. We go to Washington and capture the rail splitter.
You want to kidnap Lincoln?
We capture old Abe, spirit him off to Richmond, where I give him as a present to General Lee. Lee will hold him hostage until the Northern armies lay down their arms, and there you have it. An end to hostilities, and the name John Wilkes Booth goes down in history.
The play is about the brothers Booth, Edwin Booth and John Wilkes Booth, who were the rock star actors of their day in the mid to late 1800s.
John Wilkes Booth is usually thought of only as the man who assassinated President Lincoln, but what people don't know is the history behind him and his brother Edwin, and they were the actors of their day.
We know that Edwin knew that John, his brother, had tried to kidnap the president several times and didn't do anything about it. What was that about? What was Edwin really thinking? Why didn't he stop him? He didn't take him seriously.
And then there's a false jealousy that develops from Edwin, who thinks that his brother is having an affair with his wife, which he's not.
They butted heads, they disagreed on politics, they disagreed on this and that. There was always a competitive edge as to who was the better performer, but in the end they were always brothers, and there was always a deep love that was there.
Then that, of course, says something about what a tragedy it was to have your brother, who you love, who has your name, become an assassin of one of our greatest presidents.
I think a lot of it, if you're not so much into history, some of it can come as kind of an interesting surprise. And if you do know a lot about the history of it, and some of the ironies, the historical ironies that kind of touched on a little bit, then I think that you can kind of appreciate how it kind of goes a little bit deeper in some respects to kind of the survey version that a lot of us get in the 6th grade.
Our whole backstage is filled with pictures of John Wilkes Booth and Edwin Booth and Mary Devlin, and it's so in some ways it's been a remarkable journey to learn a lot about, these people.
It's very different than researching somebody from this day and age, because she wrote letters and they were beautifully written. Everything was poetry, and the way she wrote, and so it was more like reading like a novel than it was like researching.
You never thought that a play about assassinating the president, giving away the ending, would be this much fun. And with just the way that we sort of work together and play together and prepare together backstage and everything, it's just been, I think, a joy.
The costumes are beautiful, the scenery is beautiful, the film and the sounds, you just get to enter into more than just watching. You enter into an experience.
I watch the audiences, and there's quiet. It's not, you don't hear the rattling of programs, you don't hear coughing. They're quiet because they're engrossed.
I've talked to people who have seen the show. They walk out and they're like, man, I had no idea. I didn't know. I had never thought of it that way, which I always think anytime you can end a show and people are talking, it is mission accomplished and a successful experience.